listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking cerebral. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins number one.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm your host, Michael Oliva, joined as I am each and every Wednesday night by Tom Ernest. Thomas, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a Wednesday. It's we're getting closer to Christmas, and the season's kind of wrapping up here. So we got some news, we got some speculation, we got a mailbag, we got a lot to talk about on today's show. Before we get to any of that, as always, this show is brought to you by Caneswear. Everyone go to the website caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. If you need something for Christmas, you need something for Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate, go to caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, Miami Heat, Miami Marlins apparel that is out there. Check their website first before you go to any other website. If you're in South Florida, stop by their shop at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They got it all. Also, a shout out to everyone watching us live at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And if you haven't signed up for Dolphins Talk Extra, here's why you should. We have a special going on now and until the end of the regular season for the Dolphins, where the first month, if you sign up, it's only $1. Mind you, we usually only charge $3. We're going to give you the first month for $1. So go to patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. Use the promo code DTXmas, DTXmas, and your first month is only $1. Private message board, extra podcast, some about the Dolphins, some not. Our watch-alongs, which we're having this Sunday at my house. Josh, Aaron, and myself watch the game with us live. Join us on the screen, too. Talk about the game. You are part of that, and all the contests where we give away autographed helmets, autographed jerseys, stuff like that are exclusive to Dolphins Talk Extra members. Patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. And if you're watching us live right now on YouTube, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and super chats are open. It's the best way to support our channel. It's the best way to support it. So leave us a super chat. We'll read your question on the air. Tom, let's get to some of the Miami Dolphins news. It's so funny where this team has been riddled by injuries year after year, time after time. This week, heading into this game against the Jets, every player who's on the active roster practiced today and seems to be healthy going into this game. Who could have predicted that?
Nobody. This is the Miami Dolphins. This is how we operate as a organization, is that they're always hurt, but coming off the bye week, they had everybody practice last week. Everybody's practicing again this week. It's a good sign that the Dolphins will be healthy going into this road game. It's going to be cold, and they need all hands on deck to try to keep this win streak alive.
Yeah. In other news, Keon Smith was signed to the practice squad, and they cut offensive lineman Braden Daniels from the practice squad. Hayden Rucci signed with the Lions yesterday. So he is now a member of the Detroit Lions. The tight end who was with Miami here the past couple of years was let go a week ago, and they brought back a couple players, and he signed with the Lions. And how about this one, Tommy? Former Miami Dolphins wide receiver Brian Hartline's a new head coach at South Florida, the University of South Florida. So congratulations to him on getting a head coaching job. I will say it's well-deserved. He is one of the best recruiters in college football these days, top 2 or 3, but that's a tough place to win. He's going to have his work cut out for him. But, hey, look, a head coaching job in college is a head coaching job in college. So congratulations to Brian Hartline. How about that?
It's long overdue, in my opinion. Look at the position that he coached, because he was a positional coach, wide receiver coach at Ohio State. He was promoted offensive coordinator, I think it was 2 years ago. And they just keep getting better and better. When you look at the wide receivers that were coached under Brian Hartline that are currently in the NFL, just off the top of my head, Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, are the two clear-cut names right off the top of your head. Ibuka is having a fantastic rookie season, and JSN is right now the best wide receiver in the NFL in 2025. So
not counting the ones he's got there now at Ohio
Jeremiah
State.
Smith.
Smith is probably going to be the top pick of the draft in 2027 or top 1 or 2 pick. And Tate might go top 10, and he's been linked to Miami in a lot of mock drafts this year. So, yeah, I mean, you count those two on top of all the guys he sent recently. Again, great recruiter, but it's going to be a little bit harder for him at South Florida because at Ohio State, the kids come to you. You got the money to spend. NIL money. You can just pay anybody that you want. You pick. At South Florida, it's going to be a little bit tougher for him. He's not going to have the NIL money, but still, a head coaching job is a head coaching job. It's a good first step, and if he can turn this job at South Florida into his next job at a school in the ACC or at a school in the Southeast Conference or the Big Ten and get a much larger job, he just has to prove himself here at South Florida. So congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
Talking about head coaches, I wrote an article today. It's up on the website. Head over to DolphinsTalk.com. Check it out. We don't know what's going to happen with Mike McDaniel, but I did a little speculation here because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think it's like 1% chance to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win these 5 games in a row based on how they played the last 2 games. So let's just go under. We're just speculating, having fun. Mike McDaniel's gone. Who are some of the names that we would like to see as head coach of Dolphins? And we know a lot of it comes down to who's the GM and all that. I know. But we're just sort of spitballing names off the top of my head. And I got my list of top 5. One of them might surprise you because I've done a 180 on this. But I got my list of top 5. I'm going to throw them out there for you, Tom. And here's the thing. I didn't put in the names Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, because they have jobs. I don't know if they're going to be out of work. I don't want to trade for a coach. I think that's just freaking dumb. I'm just counting guys who are either out of work, it's a promotion, or whatever. I'm not counting guys like Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. Because obviously if they're out there, they're on your list, but I don't know if they're going to be out there. So those names are off. Number 1 on my list, and he should be number 1 on everyone's list, Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. This guy's got it. Whatever it is, this guy's dripping in it. He's a head coach at a major college, so he's not like a first-time head coach at a place with a ton of pressure. I mean, for him, when he goes to the NFL eventually, whenever, it's going to be less pressure than he has at Notre Dame. So, and he's young. He's going to turn 40 in January, I believe. He used to play right age to sort of relate to the modern athlete, and he's a leader of men. He showed that at Notre Dame. I think, there's going to be teams fighting over him. But he's the top of the list, number 1. Number 2, Mike McCarthy. For all the reasons I've said on this podcast before, he's a winner. The guy's got over a 60% winning percentage. He comes in either first or second in his, whether it's the NFC East or the NFC North, first or second every time. He can groom quarterbacks, which in a year or 2, we're going to need that probably. So he's on my list. The next one is the guy I did the 180 on, Chris Shula. I wrote an article in October saying, it's going to be too much pressure on the kid to come here and be a head coach. But the more I've thought about it, I go, you know what? Pressure is a privilege, and if he wants it, that shouldn't hold him back. Chris Shula is one, and the thing with him is no head coaching experience. But, he's going to get a head coaching job here because he has earned it. Rams, he has done a miracle with their defense, especially after the retirement of Aaron Donald. He's going to be a head coach. So I have him on the list. Last 2, Rizzi. I've spoken about him at length. I won't go too deep. We should have probably hired him way back when a few times. He's a football guy. Ain't going to put up with no bullshit. He ain't going to run romper room like the guy we got now. And the last one's Todd Monken. Again, a football guy, a little bit older. He was a head coach at Southern Miss in the past. So he's been a head coach before. Those are my top 5. Yes, there are other names. I know. What do you think of that list? Does anyone sort of jump off the page at you? Should someone not be on that list? What are your thoughts?
For me, Darren Rizzi, I'm all set there.
You don't want nothing to do with Rizzi?
No. Nope. He had his opportunities. He's had his moments.
Well, he hasn't had his opportunities because he never got the shot.
The franchise has passed on him a couple times already. What makes you think it's going to be different this time around?
Well, because we don't have a moron in Chris Greer making the call.
Well, we still have an owner, Stephen Ross, who has the final say. So, Marcus Freeman, not a surprising name.
Everyone wants him. Everyone.
He's going to be a very hot commodity. I'm sure Notre Dame would love to hang on to him. But when the NFL comes knocking, it's very difficult to pass up on it. Not everybody's Jim Harbaugh, but it also took a lot of money to lure and some scandals to get Jim Harbaugh out of Michigan. So, Chris Shula, we've talked about him in length on certain shows, but for me, if the time is right, and depending on what happens, obviously, through the rest of this season. But in this hypothetical, McDaniel's gone. I'm 100% bringing him in for an interview and just getting a sense of what you could get from Chris Shula. Is he done? No. Nobody's done Shula. Nobody's done Shula. That's why you said.
That's why I said at first, I want nothing to do with this because that will crush him to pressure. With that said,
pressure on him because of the name.
Yeah. With that said, if he wants to walk into the pressure, that's his call, his choice. Why should we stop him?
Correct. It's an opportunity to become an NFL head coach. You don't shy away from those opportunities. And, dependent on what this looks like, and in this hypothetical, they're going to have a new general manager and they're going to have a new head coach. So why not? Why the hell not?
Well, the thing with Shula is too, for him more so than any, like on this list, Rizzi, he has been in this league forever. He'll put together an A+ staff. Mike McCarthy, been in the league forever. He'll put together an A+ staff. Todd Monken, been in the league forever. He'll put together an A+ staff. Freeman, he'll be fine too, because if he's coming, he's getting paid, and they're going to give him all the resources to get an A+ staff. Because if you're getting him, you are opening up the coffers. Shula coaches one side of the ball, and he coaches it great, and he has no head coaching experience. He's going to have to answer who's your offensive coordinator, who's your quarterback coach, because he's got to get A+ guys on that side of the ball, where with the other guys, you don't have to worry about that too much.
Yep. That I agree with. That I agree with you. If you're bringing in a defensive-minded head coach, first-time head coach,
I
agree with you. You have to have your offensive staff in place, ready to go, because when you're moving on from McDaniel, you're moving on from the quarterback, and you're getting somebody new in the system. You have to be prepared, and you better have a damn good answer on who you're bringing in.
Yeah, and I'm sure, he will have a staff, or he'll have some names out there, I'm sure, because he's going to get a lot of interviews. Look, he'll probably get talk with the Giants. He'll probably get a talk with the Titans. Those are the two that we know for sure are open. He will be chatting with those teams for sure, because he's going to be one of the hot young assistants that everyone wants to talk to, again, as he should. Now, there's a couple names I don't want nothing to do with. Cliff Kingsbury, I want nothing to do with Cliff Kingsbury. My fear is, though, he's the type of guy Ross is going to fall in love with. He's going to see the slick back hair, the sunglasses. The guy looks South Florida. You see the hot white. He just screams South Florida, and Ross is going to fall in love with him. This guy was a loser coach in college. He was a loser coach with Arizona. Now, he's done wonders in Washington as a quarterback coach. This year, I'm not going to blame on him. They had a ton of injuries. And plus, he's not the head coach. But he's done wonders with Jaden Daniels. So I want nothing to do with Cliff. He reminds me of, as I've said 100 times, the worst traits of Mike McDaniel and Adam Gase. It's those two guys rolled into one. If they could have a love child, it's Cliff Kingsbury. I don't want nothing to do with Cliff Kingsbury.
I agree with that. I won't put everything on him for what's going on in Washington, just like you said.
Put everything on him for his 2 stops in college and for the Arizona Cardinals. That's all.
Awful. Don't want any part of it. It's like inviting Lane Kiffin back into the NFL. That's the type of coach I think Cliff Kingsbury.
He's actually on my list.
Oh God!
Just because he went to LSU don't mean he ain't going to leave again. I mean, he's going to leave LSU.
I'm hands off on Cliff Kingsbury. I think, last year was kind of more of an anomaly versus what the norm is, and not really seeing it. He had he had a little bit of time in Atlanta. Again, I'm just completely out on him. But yeah, keep going with your name, because if you bring up Lane next, we'll have a conversation about that.
Here's what I'm going to say about Lane. I don't want to spend a lot of time because he's not going to leave now, but he's the type of guy who actually would leave now. I was like, just got here at LSU. Hey, I got a better offer coming. What's the buyout? Ross, you'll pay that, right? See, I'm not coach. Like, he's that type of guy. Like, Lane, just like when, he got all upset at the young reporter who should not have compared him to a hoe. That's not professional. Well, let's be honest. At the end of the day, he's a hoe. He will sleep with anybody. I mean, pretty much. And then for him to stand up, Chris Mad Dog Russo today absolutely killed Lane Kiffin on ESPN First Take. If anyone can find the clip, go on social media. It is the funniest 5 minutes. He's like, Lane, you're getting up and say, I had to talk to God and God helped me with the decision. Lane, God's got more important things to do these days. He ain't worried about if you're going to Ole Miss or LSU. And then he stands up there and says, I don't know how much I'm getting paid. Lane, I know how much I'm getting paid. Everyone knows how much they're getting paid. You know to the penny how much you're getting paid. It's like Mad Dog destroyed him. It was the funniest 5 minutes. So it's like the guy, he's a used car salesman, and you know what you're getting. Now look, he's not coming to Miami this year. He just got to LSU. I'm just saying it would be funny though, because I could see it. Watch if like Tennessee called or the Giants called Lane Bush. I'll take the interview. Why not? I'll take the interview. The name out there who I think the problem is the health issues, and I feel horrible for the guy. He's got a lot of health issues, because I do think he's the type of guy who could coach on this level and be successful. Deion Sanders. All the bullshit aside, that guy. Now, look, he doesn't have the talent at Colorado. He doesn't have the talent. But I don't know how many people really watch sport of college football. Really watch college football to where, like, you're staying up late on Saturday night watching games out west. Like, that's me. I'm a nut because I bet him. It's not the antics that you think it is with him. He's very serious. But he's got a lot of health issues, too. So that's why I would just I'd say no, because I feel awful for the guy, honestly. He has so many health issues that it's kind of scary. But yeah, there's names out there. Now, you got the guy for the Packers, Halfley. I don't think he's coming here because he's close with McDaniel, who's close with who's the coach here for the Packers? You know what? Matt LaFleur. So I don't think he's going to take over him. But there's guys out there. But those five, to me, Freeman's a home run. I give him a blank check. You pick, and you can pick the GM. I don't care at that point. Like, because to him, he gives me Mike Tomlin vibes, where you're going to hire this guy and you're going to be here for 20-something years and you're going to win.
Right.
Mike McCarthy is also at the top of the list too, because he just wins. The guy just wins.
He does. McCarthy. Look, I'm fine with McCarthy. 100% fine with McCarthy. Based on, historically whom he has worked with, again, yeah. Oh, he worked with, Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, great.
He developed him.
He developed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Exactly. The fact that he developed him is the reason that you'd kind of want a guy like that, especially if you're bringing in a new quarterback, right? There's a lot to like with him. Obviously, the knock on him is he wins a lot of games but doesn't get it done in the postseason. As a Dolphins fan, I will take 11 to 13 wins every season and have perpetual hope than to see this kind of football that we've been watching for 25 plus years.
He's literally in first or second place every year that he's coached. Just a couple years came in third. But really just a couple. Like, he's in first or second place literally every year. Like, here it is. His first year as head coach in 2006. I'm just going to go straight through. Second place, first place, third, second place. Second place won the Super Bowl. First, second, first, third place. Ooh, he had a second, third place year. Let's fire him. Smart move. First year with the Cowboys. It's his first year, third. Then first place, second place, first place. The guy wins wherever he goes. It's like, even if he never wins us a Super Bowl, if he's got us in the playoffs damn near every year in first or second place, makes Sundays a lot more fun. Sign me up.
Yeah. And eventually you're going to get those wins in the playoffs. You might string together a hot streak when it matters the most, and maybe you get them over the hump, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm coming for 6-7 years. I'm coming first or second. You know what, Mike? Not getting the job done. We'll get someone else to take us over. Whatever. I'll take the success.
I'll take it too. Like what he left in when he was let go in Dallas. Dallas is just a shit show, anyways, right? It's Jerry Ford.
He was the fall.
He's the fall guy, 100%. Perpetually the top offense in the NFL. Also, every single year it seemed like he had a top offense in the NFL. So, a lot of people were just kind of on him last year. Very vanilla. He's not really adapting. This, that, and the other thing.
How are they doing without him? Because they ain't going to the playoffs this year.
Nope. But again, it's the same group, adding obviously George Pickens into the equation full time. It's really the same group of guys on offense, and Dallas is still humming along. That is Mike McCarthy's system. That's his guys, and he left it in good hands. Schottenheimer is not going to be anything to write home about as a head coach, in my opinion. But all the talent was there, and he got a lot out of them. So.
All right, let's get to the mailbag. We got a ton of mailbag questions. I put this out late, and we got a bunch. So let's go to the mailbag.
Here comes
the Dolphins Talk.
Mailbag, got your email, faxes, and your notes. Here comes
the Dolphins Talk.
Mailbag, gonna read some for all you folks.
All right, first question is we're going to take the questions from the people who subscribe to Dolphins Talk Extra. First question from Wyda, WHYDA. Once the regular season ends, how fast should the Fins move to replace the GM? Also, what would you like to see the organizational structure look like? Leave it as is, or should the GM report to someone other than Ross? If they're going to a structure they currently do not operate under, should they fill that now? Let me go first real quick. They better move lightning fast. And I'm guessing they probably already have a short list of possible general managers they want to talk to, the first people they want to interview, and I'm sure they've reached out to them behind the scenes to sort of set that up right when the season ends to hit the ground running. Now, I believe, this is my belief, and I know I am in the minority, but the new general manager is not going to make the call on Mike McDaniel. After the Week 18 game is played, you're going to see Mr. Ross put out a statement saying, Mike McDaniel is our head coach moving forward, or Mike McDaniel is fired. I don't think what they're going to do is hire a new general manager the second or third week of January and make Mike McDaniel squirm for a month because A, you're only hurting yourself, and B, that's just kind of dumb, honestly. I think they're going to announce Ross is going to make a call on McDaniel after that game versus the Patriots. He's our head coach, or he's let go, he's fired. And then they're either in the market for a GM or they're in the market for a GM and a head coach, and they just go from there. But they're going to move lightning fast, honestly. Like I said, I'm sure they've already got things in the works. Now, on the structure, I think they're probably going to keep the same structure. If it were me, I'd hire a VP of football operation or give him whatever goddamn title you want, like the Parcells role or the Tannenbaum role. Let him hire the GM and head coach, and everyone reports up to him. A football guy, Joe Banner, someone like, not him per se, but someone like that in that role. Here's the people I'd be reaching out to in that role. Joe Banner, Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, someone like that. So they're not doing the heavy lifting, but they're picking the people who are doing heavy lifting. That's what I would do. I don't think they're going to do it. What are your thoughts, Tom?
No, they won't do that hierarchy. I think, Ross had the experience with Parcells. Parcells wasn't long for the seat. He was just there to kind of fix things up in 2008. And, he was gone, right? In a blink of an eye, he was gone.
Well, because he had in his contract, if it's sold the team, I can leave and get paid. And he was very smart because Ross was smart to take his money.
It was smart to take his money. So I think the structure is going to be the same. You're going to have Stephen Ross. You're going to have a general manager. You're going to have a head coach. And I think you're going to have obviously the coach go to the general manager is reporting to Stephen Ross. Now, that clearly hasn't worked in Ross's tenure. So I'm in agreement with you. Find somebody that's like a football czar, a guy that can come in and just point fingers and be like, do this, do that to the general manager, and the general manager to the head coach. It's Ross has to open up his pocketbook because it's going to cost a lot of money to get somebody of substance to take that job. And you need someone in place that knows what the hell they're doing. So for me, I think he stays the course in regards of how it is going to look. But at the same time, I think he'll be open to the idea. I just don't think he's not a guy that makes changes. So I hope he does kind of have a different structure, but I can't see it until he actually does it.
All right. From our very own Josh Katzker, between the players heading back to school and the Miami Dolphins draft position falling, drafting a new starting quarterback this offseason seems unlikely. Who are the possible names that could start at quarterback for the Dolphins in 2026 who are not Tua Tagovailoa? This is kind of what we spoke about Sunday night, and people get all worked up when I just mentioned even one or two names. Again, this is a great question, though. Miami's going to, if they hold on to Tua, like many of us think they probably will because of the contract, they're going to bring someone else in to push him, though, because, spoiler, Tua's been really bad this year. So they got to bring someone, and it's not just Quinn Ewers. You got to bring in someone else because Quinn Ewers has proven nothing. I mean, even though some of us kind of like him a little bit, I don't know if he should be on the field, in September playing in real games. So they're going to have to bring in a veteran. And again, these are not sexy names. These are not names to get anyone excited. But when you're paying one guy $200 million and you got, and it's not working out, you got to bring in a veteran to sort of hedge your bet, which is what they're doing. So here are some of the names that are going to be available. And I'd be fine with pretty much any of these. And again, I know it's not exciting. You're not going to win with these guys. We know that. But guess what? You're not going to win with Tua either. So come to grips with that. Jimmy Garoppolo, although he gets hurt more than Tua maybe. So I don't know if that's a good fit. But he's a name who will be out there. Russell Wilson, Minshew, Joe Flacco, Marcus Mariota. Now, the last two is where it gets interesting. Trey Lance. He hasn't proven nothing, but, there might be something there. And the last one is the one I would kick the tires on. With San Francisco, because he's only got 1 year left on his deal, would they trade Mac Jones for a top 100 pick? Miami's got 5 top. Now, not in round 1 or 2, obviously, but they got 3 picks in round 3. Would you give up one of those third-round picks for Mac Jones, who played very well this year, and knowing, I'm going to give Mac Jones a small extension, and I don't know what's going to go on in 2027 and beyond, but once we do get rid of Tua, I got Mac Jones in my back pocket with Quinn Ewers under contract. Yeah, we'll probably draft someone in 2027 maybe, but at least I got Mac, so we're going to be, somewhat safe at the position. It's only going to cost me a third-round pick, and I would still have 4 picks in the top 100. That would be – and because here's why San Francisco might trade him, because he's going to leave after next year, and you ain't going to get nothing for him. So I might hedge my bet on someone like a Mac Jones, but you're looking at Flacco, Mariota, Lance, Minshew, Russell, Jimmy G. Look, those are the guys. Or maybe they bring back Zach Wilson. I don't know. It's not exciting, but if you keep Tua, one of those guys is going to be here.
Yeah, for me, regarding Mac Jones, being that was the last one you brought up, is it worth sending a pick like that for a guy that's just going to probably ride the pine 75%
I don't know
of the season?
I think he beats him out in camp. I think he beat out Tua in camp if it's a fair battle. If it's a fair battle.
Nah.
Tom, Tua sucks. Let's just freaking admit it.
Well, Mac Jones isn't anything to write home about.
He played really good this year, Tom.
Under
in San Francisco, I know.
So okay.
13 touchdowns, 6
in San Francisco, and who was he swinging the ball out to in the backfield?
Well, he got Achane here. It ain't going to be chopped liver.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Achane's chopped liver. I'm just saying no. to Mac Jones.
70% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns, 6 picks, won 5 games, lost 3.
No, I'm
Okay.
out. I'm not sending a top 100 pick for all the shit that this team needs. I'm not sending a top
Quarterback's
100
one of
pick.
the things they need, though.
Okay, he's still a quarterback that's fighting for a job. You're not sending a third round pick to a guy that's fighting for a top spot on the roster. You're bringing in a college kid to fight for a roster spot. You're not bringing in a veteran of 5 years.
Well, Mac Jones ain't
who
fighting for
shit
a roster
himself.
spot.
He shit himself with the Patriots, and he's lucked out for a good season with San Francisco.
What the hell's Tua done, Tom? That's kind of his career.
This for me has nothing.
Of course
to
it
do with
does.
it.
Because it's either starting Tua or someone else.
I'm not going to send the San Francisco 49ers a top 100 pick for a backup quarterback. No, thank you.
I don't think he's a backup, but I don't think he's a backup here, but okay.
It will not work. Just saying it will not work, because you do that, you fire McDaniel next offseason, and then the next coach comes in. I don't want freaking Mac Jones. Wasted pick. No thanks. It's a lame duck season in 2026 because you know what you have to do with the quarterback. You know what's happening with the head coach. There's no reason to send it. Develop Quinn Ewers, bring a veteran in, bring a Flacco in, bring somebody like that in. That's what they're going to have to do. There's no way in hell that the new general manager of the Dolphins is sending a third-round pick unless he knows Mac Jones and he worked with Mac Jones. That's the only way that's going to happen. Zero shot. None.
All right. That'd be very interesting. I would kick the tires at him. I think he comes in and I think he starts day one.
Kicking the tires on
not kicking
Mac
the tires.
Kicking the tires on Mac Jones is great. There's going to be opening spots for teams that are going to be starting over at the position. The Dolphins right now aren't starting over at the position. Mike McDaniel's still going to be the head coach. Mac Jones ain't going to be in Miami.
Okay.
If he's a free agent, talk to him. You're not trading a pick for him.
If he's a free agent, he's going to get paid a ton, and there are going to be teams fighting over him, Tom. I don't think you realize how good he was this year. I really don't think you realize how good he was. Like, he was really, really good. But, okay, it's fine. Next question. Does Ross have the balls to authorize swapping quarterbacks? No. He will let Mike McDaniel die on that fine. If Mike McDaniel doesn't want to play Quinn Ewers this year, that's on Mike. Ross won't make that call. That's from Mark Nelson of Dolphins Talk. Extra member. Here's a second question. Also, what have you heard about the odds of Mike McDaniel will be gone? I think 100% gone in 3 more seasons. I think, but is there any chance he'll be terminated season after next when Tua is gone, or even better, any chance at the end of the season? To me, it's simple. If they don't win 9 or 10 games this year, which I don't think they will, I think he's gone after this year. I honestly think they're going to be. I know what he said publicly, Mr. Ross. I think when it's all said and done, cooler heads are going to prevail. Like, we fired the GM, the head coach. It's another season under fight. They're not going to win out. The way they played the past 2 weeks, they're not winning out. So I think they're going to probably win 7 games, 6 or 7 games. And I think there's a very good chance he's gone after this year. I just think they know what they've done previously is broken. That's why they got rid of Chris Greer when they did. And that's why they got rid of his 2 flunkies who worked right under him as well. They know it's broken. And I think short of him winning 9 or 10 games and being alive week 17 for a chance at the playoffs, well, they need like 5 other things to happen, which will not happen. That's the only way he stays. I do think he's gone after this year. I think they're not going to be this dumb to keep him and say, just give him 1 more year. And because at that point, it's just, if they do that, he's going to be fired by next October. It's like, what are we doing? So I do think cooler heads will prevail.
It's the vicious cycle of the Miami Dolphins. It's everything will hinge for Stephen Ross depending on how this season ends. I know you think they're going to lose the next 5 most likely just based on the last 2.
Yeah.
I think they win 2, maybe 3 more games this year, which puts them perpetually 7-10, 8-9, right? And the argument, or what Stephen Ross most likely will say, is, well, the team started 1-6. They came back. They play hard for Mike. We're gonna keep them one more season. And then they don't bring a general manager in. They'll just keep, Champ Kelly or Brandon Shore will be the guy, whatever it is. And they go into 2026 in the same boat, but actually a little bit worse because they don't have any cap space. So they can make cap space. Every team can make cap space. But again, you kick the can down the road in a lot of those scenarios. You're not touching the quarterback's contract at all. Tyreek Hill is going to be gone. That's where you're probably going to get the bulk of your money. There's a few other moves that they can do to free
Minka
up.
might be gone too. I got a feeling. I think Minka might be gone. That's $15.6 million. That's a lot of money.
He's $15.6 million, but if you have the same staff in place and how well he's been playing this year, if you don't get a great trade offer for him in the offseason, he's probably here next year.
Has he played well this season? Not counting last game.
No, he's played well this year.
Okay.
The salary cap is real. I saw a comment. Salary cap's
real, folks. That's why they're in this mess.
Look at the
last guy was a blithering idiot. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This one from Twitter. Should the calls for Tom Garfinkel's job be louder? Yes, but he's not judged by wins and losses. He is here forever or until he quits or dies. So Tom Garfinkel makes some money and he's friends with the family, and that's it. He ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: we don't know how involved he is with the football operations. We really don't. If I've heard things off the record. I can't share, but I don't know for certain. But yeah, he ain't going nowhere. This is about the on the field product. GM, head coach, quarterback. Those are the changes. 1 down, 2 to go. Last one more here from Twitter. Green Lion Antique Dealer. Oh, this is a fun one, which we've kind of already answered. As of 12/3, which is today, if you had complete control of the franchise, what would be the fate of McDaniel and Tua, even if 2026 turns out to be a gap year because of the money you'd have to eat? What would you do? I'd fire them both in 5 minutes. They're both bad at their job. The head coach is the easy one. Just tell them to go. And with the quarterback, at the end of the year, I'm finding the most creative way to move on from his deal. I'm going to eat the dead money next year, bite the bullet. It's going to suck next year anyways, with him or without him. That's me. Pretty simple. If I had total power, which I do per your question, that's it.
Yeah, I agree. If I had power of the franchise, I'm moving on from McDaniel. You can't perpetually every year start this slow and then work yourself back up and fall short, right? You got to start strong, finish strong, and get into the postseason. Obviously, you want to win a division. McDaniel hasn't done that, so get him out. And the quarterback has regressed immensely in 2025. Immensely has regressed. So the hard part, if I was in charge, aka Stephen Ross, I'm having a very hard time pulling out the checkbook and writing $100 million to say goodbye. I'm having a hard time writing a check to have him go be a backup quarterback somewhere else or whatever may happen with him. So regardless, from a business standpoint, I think he's here next year. I just can't see Ross eating that money. I can't. In 2026, after the season's over, that's a whole different animal. That's where you get your cap space back. You could say goodbye to the quarterback. But again, 26, in my opinion, is going to be a year of same old, same old. I don't think there's going to be any changes.
It's going to be your sucking.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
The only way it won't suck is if they do what I said: new head coach, new GM, bring in a quarterback to push Tua, and try new things. Have a new offensive system. Have a new scheme on defense. Play the young kids. Use this draft to supplement what you got. Get more young kids in the mix, and and just have an open competition to quarterback. Maybe he wins Tua. I don't know, but have an open competition to where you just don't hand them the job and we're watching the same crap year after year after year after year. Or I mean, so it's like that's how next year's fun is if they just get a new head coach, honestly, and just try something new and don't just hand the job to the quarterback who's proven he shouldn't be handed the job at this point. But that's how next year's fun. But if they're going to run it back with everyone, I'm telling you right now, if you thought this year was bad, next year going to be so much worse. It's going to be because you got no Chubb, you got no Hill. Even for just a few games, you had Hill. Like you might see Waller gone. Who knows the hell he's going to like? It's going to be so much worse next year. But that's next year.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just want to play. If you're not a Marvel fan, they have this show called What If. What if? I'm going to pose this question to you, Mike, before we move on. What if Mike McDaniel and Stephen Ross had a conversation, and McDaniel had told Stephen Ross, let me pick my own quarterback. We let Tua go, and let me show you what I can do with said quarterback. And just allow me to be here in 2026 to show you what I can do with somebody different that can open this offense up because of the limitations of the guy I currently have. Would you think that that conversation has happened?
Well, how are you going to get this quarterback? Because you're not going to have a high enough pick in round one because they keep winning. All the names I listed are all the names out there, and you don't want to even trade the third-round pick for Mac Jones. So where are you getting this magical quarterback from?
Well, you have one in-house. You can try.
That's a seventh-round
Maybe
pick.
he's trying to sucker him in to say Quinn Ewers. Hey, he was a guy that was.
I know he was, but
top,
he's still seventh-round
top
pick.
2-round pick before his injury. The injury bug hit him hard in Texas, obviously, and we haven't seen enough of him to really know. So again,
so Mike McDaniel's going to go to the owner and say, "You give me 1 year with Quinn Ewers, and I'm going to show you something." And I'm the owner. I'm going to say, you're the guy who pounded the table that you could fix this guy who was the fifth pick of round one. You're the guy who, when he was holding out in camp, which he was holding out essentially, he's picked up the phone and said, come on, we got to pay him. Now you're coming to me literally a year and 5 months later saying, that guy that I picked up the phone and called you for isn't the guy we picked around 7 is the guy, and you got to give me one more. I mean, if I'm Mr. Ross, I'd say, I was born in the day. I wasn't born yesterday. I'd fire him just on principle for asking, honestly. I mean, again, if we were picking third and we had a chance to get a Moore or get Mendoza or something, I say, you know what? Okay. You know what? You could actually sell me on that. It still makes no freaking sense, but you could sell me on that. But that ain't going to happen. So we're going to be picking, 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever, 8th maybe. Who knows if we do lose out like I think. You ain't getting a quarterback there. Not this year. And you're not going to make that type of bold statement with Trey Lance, Joe Flacco, Marcus Mariota, or Russell Wilson. We're not going to get Mac Jones in your world. So I don't know who he's going to get to prove this year. Just fire the guy. He sucks. I mean, I don't know what else we need. Look, I really question, I understand we think he might come back, and he might come back, who knows. But people who, want him back, I question why. What do you watch every Sunday? The blown timeouts on the opening drive, lost challenges, teams never prepared, plays bad versus teams that are playing, that are bad. We never really beat a team that's good. I know this year it was the Bills. That's one win in 5 years against a team that's good or whatever it is. It's no, I'm not something. No, I've fallen for your bullshit enough.
Adversity breeds opportunity.
Yeah, he can keep saying that. Okay, a couple more questions here. What's the biggest need going into the offseason for the Dolphins from Tim? To me, the two biggest needs, and it's not even close, are edge rusher and corner. We have no corners. They all stink. And at edge rusher, Chubb's gone, Jalen's gone, and Chop Robinson's had a bad year. It was real funny watching Chop this week, who had 1.5 sacks going, people forgot who I am. Yeah, because you've done nothing this year. So he's like, yeah, people forgot about me. Yeah, we forgot about you because you haven't done anything. And I know he's been hurt, but it's Chop, really, don't run your mouth after one game versus the Saints. Yeah, it's got to be corner and edge rusher. Those are the two biggest needs going into next year. Like I said on Sunday, offensive line, they got 5 guys who are coming back, and they got a 1,000-yard rusher through week 12. I'm not saying it's not a need. It's not a top need. We have nothing at corner. the edge rusher position, which is so important in this league. We're going to have one guy again next year. I would just look at those 5 picks in top 100, not all of them there, but I try to come with 2 players in the secondary, maybe 1 corner, 1 safety at least, and maybe 1 or 2 edge rushers. I think those are the biggest needs. Wide receivers and needs, tight ends a need. We know that. But corner and edge rusher to me are the 2 biggest needs on this team heading into next year.
Yeah. In agreement, 100%. Corner is at the very, very, very top of my list. And, I would put a slash there, 1A corner, 1B safety. Especially if, hypothetically, if Meek is not here next season, you need someone to fill that role. And there's a guy, and you're not drafting safeties in the top 10, and the Dolphins are thinking about it. Caleb Downs, for me, is hands down an easy selection. And edge rusher,
be top 8 to get him, though. Top 8 or so to get him. He ain't falling out of the top 10. That guy, he's too good.
Edge rusher for sure. Bradley Chubb's not going to be here, like you said. Job Robinson's had a down season. They don't have anybody really in the wings that can really take on that 3-down role with his hand in the dirt. So I 100% agree. I don't think you take one in the first round. I think you take one in the second or third. You got multiple picks in the third. There's going to be guys out there. It's a fairly decent draft in regards of edge talent. And everything, of course, will hinge on where how many quarterbacks are coming out this year. It's still an unknown outside of Mendoza.
I think Mork will come out. I think he has to come out more. He's just too good.
I think, yeah, and you're gonna land, you're gonna have Mendoza or Moore go 1-2, and then I think you would have Ruben Bain probably going 3 at this point, or the kid from Utah, Spencer Fano.
Well, the linebacker from Ohio State is
that kid too.
He's going to be the top non-quarterback picked. So he's the top it's not even up for debate. He's that good. The top non-quarterback picks is going to be him. So I think we'll have 2 quarterbacks, a kid from Ohio State at linebacker, Averill. And after that, it's a hodgepodge of who needs what and where. But I think if you want the safety from Ohio State, they're down. You got to be top 8. I don't think he ain't falling that low. So yeah, a lot of time there. We'll see what Miami does. I've been checking some mock drafts. I got a couple up on the site from, USA Today and The Athletic. A lot of what they got Miami is corners, the kid from Tennessee or the kid from LSU. Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State's in there. Couple with the offensive line, but just a couple. And that's kind of where they got Miami going. And also, and again, I think they've probably fallen too far to get him, but he's the guy I want. Falk, the edge rusher from Auburn, who he's probably like between 5 and 8 or 9 as well. That dude is just unreal. I kind of like him more than Bain. He is. I saw one mock had him going 2, I think, but Falk from Auburn is just unreal. And that's a guy that Miami needs, somebody like that. So, and look, if I'm right, if they go 0-5, even if they go 1-4, they're going to get their way back up into that top 8, I think. So, especially with losses versus Jets and stuff, they're going to, leapfrog the Jets. So I think they'll get back to that top 8, which is a sweet spot to pick in because you can get, the top wide receiver off the board. You might get one of the 2 best edge rushers off the board. You might get the top offensive tackle off the board. You're going to have some options there if you're in Miami. Don't trade down for more picks. You got 5 in the top 100. Just get good players. Seriously, get good players. All right. I got one more. We're going to save it, though, because we got to get to this game. Dolphins Jets this week. We've already played once. That's why I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. Looking at the numbers, they're actually somewhat close in most categories. Total offense, Jets 26, Miami 25th. Passing offense, Jets 32nd, Miami 27th. Rushing offense, Jets 7th, Miami 17th. Scoring offense, Jets 25th, Miami 24th. So they're pretty much even, except for rushing offense, Jets are hot. Jets are higher. Total defense, Jets 17th, Miami 23rd. Pass defense, Jets 10th, Miami 15th. Rushing defense, Jets tied for 25th, Miami 29th. And scoring defense, Jets 27, Miami 19. Again, they're pretty close. These 2 teams are just like razor. They're like I hate to say it, I know most fans don't want to hear the Dolphins, but your reality check, these two teams are carbon copies of each other. They really are. They don't have great play at quarterback. They're both have head coaches who really aren't that good. With no Hill, Waddle, even though Wilson's been out, those two guys are kind of a wash at wide receiver. Offensive lines are kind of a mess for both teams. I mean, they're good, not great. And I think the Jets have a slightly better defense, even after the trades they made. So, yeah, when Miami has the ball, here's what I'm thinking, Tom. They got to get the passing game going. Waddle has to be involved. He has to be involved. And I think, teams are going to start picking up eventually that Miami feeds Achane so much. I think they got to get more guys involved in this offense.
I agree. I think you need more Malik Washington involvement. Obviously, having Darren Waller back is helpful. Again, it's really about how many snaps Waller plays at this point. Hopefully, he continues to ramp up because they really need him on the field for at least 50 to 60% of the offensive snaps because he still has shown that he can be a dynamic player even after taking a year off of football. Malik Washington has shown that he can move the sticks. Waddle is Jalen Waddle, right? You know what you have with Jalen Waddle. You don't need to worry about it. You just got to get his hands on the football and let him do what he does. But yes, Devon Achane is becoming focal point number one for every NFL defensive coordinator because of how dynamic he truly is. And we are witnessing it this year because he is getting the ball a ton. I think I saw he's got 240 touches this year. That's incredible. Thinking of the size of the guy that you're feeding him this much, two things. Number one, shows his ability as a every down running back is there, right? I personally didn't think him being at 5'8", 5'9", whatever he is, would be a every down NFL back. He is. So I agree with you. They have to get the passing game going. They have to be able to push the ball down the field to open things up because what that does, it pushes the defensive backs away from the line of scrimmage, and that opens up your screen game. That opens up your passing, your short passing game, and that also helps your ground game. So they have to push the ball down the field. I know the weather's going to be crap. If it's not crap, it's probably going to be cold and maybe windy. But they have to get it going, and Tua has to actually throw for more than 200 yards in this game.
Yeah. And on the other side of the ball, stop Breece Hall, and someone other than Chubb needs to get to the quarterback. I know Chubb can get to the quarterback. I want to see Chop for more than one game do it. Where the pass rush is going to come from. I actually think the Jets with Tyrod have a much improved offense than they do with Fields. So this Jets offense, I think, is way better with Tyrod Taylor under center, honestly. So they better get after him because he's a guy who, if he has time, again, veteran quarterback, and he'll be out there next offseason too. Toss him on a list, although I don't think he'll leave the Jets. I think he likes it there, the head coach. If he has time, he'll find the open receiver. So get after them.
Stop Breece Hall. The big difference again from the first game on Monday Night Football to now this game is that Justin Fields not at quarterback. Tyrod Taylor was a running quarterback in his prime. He's not that type of guy anymore. Will he run? Sure, if he has the opportunity to, but his game's not predicated on running the ball. So you got to keep him in the pocket. You have to do a good job there. They did a good job with Tyler Show last week, keeping him within the pocket. They did a good job collapsing it on him so he couldn't run because he does know how to use his legs. The other piece for me is you better guard Mason Taylor. They did not do a good job of that in the first game. Mason Taylor hurt the Dolphins in many instances when the Jets were making their comeback. They have to keep him at bay because for me, A.D. Mitchell had a great game last week. I'm not overly concerned with AD Mitchell. I'm more concerned with the short passing game to the tight end and to Brees Hall.
Yeah. All right. It's that time in the show. It's now time for Mike and Tom's Fearless Predictions. All right. Dolphins at Jets, MetLife Stadium, 1 p.m. on CBS. Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta on the call. Tom, what's your prediction for this game?
Plenty of alcohol and maybe a nap. It is going to be one of those typical Dolphins Jets games in the Meadowlands where it's going to be low scoring. I think you're going to see a ton of turnovers, I think, from both sides. And it's going to get sloppy. And the Dolphins have been winning sloppy. And I think the Jets are playing much better over the last 2 to 4 weeks. I think they're much more competitive, like you said earlier, with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Brees Hall has gotten it going. AD Mitchell's had a good couple games. But I think Anthony Weaver has this defense confident. I believe they'll force a couple turnovers. And I believe that this will be a game where we do see the quarterback kind of open it up a little bit more. Maybe he goes, for a little over 200 yards and a couple touchdowns because they're going to need to do that to keep the Jets from keying on Devon Achane. I think this game is going to be ugly, and the Dolphins will win 17-16.
Damn, 1 point game. All right. Oh, the New York Jets. New York, the city of great pizza and rats the size of cats. The Jets playbook this year is like their trophy case, empty but full of hope and dreams. The Jets don't need a new quarterback. They need a priest, a therapist, and a fire marshal. Look, we can kid the Jets, but it's not like our Miami Dolphins are any better. In fact, the outlook of these two franchises right now kind of favor the Jets because they have a solid general manager in place who nailed last year's draft, and they got 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Both teams have been playing well of late, though, and they haven't mailed it in as the season has gone on. The Jets have won 3 of their last 5. Miami's won 4 of their last 5. Both teams can run the football with success, and both teams can play, at times, not always, at times, stingy defense. The Jets have found 2 young wide receivers in Mitchell and Mechie who have played very well. Miami has Waller back in their offense, and Justin Fields on the bench, which I think gives the Jets actually an edge at quarterback with the way Tua has played this year. Fun fact, the Jets have not intercepted 1 pass this year on defense. I predict they intercept Tua once this week at their first interception of the year. I think it's going to be a super close game. I think Miami needs Waddle to be a factor in this game if they want to win. I think Miami needs Chuck Robinson to be a factor in this game like it was last week if they want to win. I think Miami needs Tua to not look like what he's looked like for most of the season if they want to win. And after the last 2 Dolphins games against the Washington Commanders, and the Saints, I don't know if 1, 2, 3, or all 3 of those things can or will happen. The Dolphins were lucky to beat the Commanders and Saints. They were lucky. The Jets are at home. They almost beat Miami last time. The Jets actually got some positive mojo going. But I think at the end of the day, the Dolphins' miracle run comes to an end. Give me the Jets 27, Miami 17. This is where the season dies. This is where Mike McDaniel's time in Miami dies. This is where it all dies on the field of MetLife Stadium, out there with Jimmy Hoffa. I think the Jets put an end to the Dolphins season, and that's where we're at. And hey, if you want some entertainment, watch this game as a member of Dolphins Talk Extra with Josh, Aaron, and myself as we have a watch along. Patreon.com/Dolphins. You can see our reaction in real time as we have a big spread of food coming to my house, and we're going to be eating, and we're going to be watching the game. And if it is the Jets, no one wants to lose to the Jets. This Dolphins team the past 2 weeks, if they were playing teams other than Washington and the Saints, would have lost. And guess what? They're playing a team that's won 3 of their last 5. Not that they're great, but we're not either. And so I got the Jets, unfortunately. All right. let's get to a pick segment. Now, you weren't here last week. So the week before, we were both 1-2. So you still got a lead. You still have a 5-game lead on me here this year. Although I do have a tie now. So that tie is going to be a wrinkle because the last time we picked games, there was a tie. So since I still got the worst record, I get to go first. Let me get the lines open. I have some thoughts. Let me just see if anything's changed. Let me see your sports book. All right, my first locks. Oh, the NFL. What am I doing? Give me the first game. The Ravens -6 over Pittsburgh. Ravens coming off a loss. They got an extra 3 days. Pittsburgh's a mess. Pittsburgh's a mess, and it's in Baltimore. I think they're tied for first, I believe. So I just like the Ravens at home. I think they're just a much better team. I'm still holding out, not hope because I don't really care at the end of the day. I still think the Ravens are going to make a run to the Super Bowl here because the AFC, with the Indianapolis now falling off a ledge, with the Chiefs hanging on by, their fingernails, it's either the Patriots, Sean Payton and the Broncos, and I think the Ravens are the third team. And I think they start that run this week. Give me that -6 over Pittsburgh. My other one is I'm going to go with one of those other teams I just mentioned. Give me the Denver Broncos laying 7.5 at the Vegas Raiders. Vegas is dead. DOA, dead on arrival. There's nothing there. 7.5's a lot on the road. The half I really don't love. But I think I trust Sean Payton. I trust Nix. He's a very good – he's an outstanding quarterback. I never thought Nix would be this level of quarterback in the NFL. He has surprised the hell out of me. It felt like he was in college forever between Auburn and Oregon. Bo Nix is the real deal. Give me the Broncos laying 7.5. Those are my two locks, Tom.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with a team that has struggled for better part of 3-4 weeks now. And I think they're going to go into this game and they're going to break some damn kneecaps. Give me the Lions at home on Thursday Night Football, -3 against the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Cowboys are hot. I know that they're riding high after a big win on Thanksgiving. A couple weeks earlier, they come back and beat the Eagles. I think it comes to a screeching halt because I don't think that defense will have any answers for Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think the Lions will get out of their schneid, and I think they'll get a big win on Thursday night because not only are the Chiefs teetering on the brink, the Lions now are teetering on the brink of missing the postseason, and they need this game desperately. This is a make or break for both teams, and I'll take the home team -3 because I just have a little bit more faith in Dan Campbell than I do in Brian Schottenheimer on a Thursday Night Football game. My next one, this one was hard for me to pick just because this game should be played on Nickelodeon Junior. Give me the Cleveland Browns -4.5 at home against the Tennessee Titans.
You're a sick bastard. This game, you're a sick bastard.
These teams suck. These teams suck. And honestly, Mike, I don't see another game right now on this slate that I'm confident enough to picking. So I would take the defense of the Cleveland Browns against an offense of the Tennessee Titans that can't get out of their own way. They can't score points no matter how hard they try. And the Browns defense is damn good. Jim Schwartz is going to make life a living hell for Cam Ward. Give me the Browns on Nickelodeon Junior -4.5 against the Titans.
Schwartz is someone else who I should probably put on my list for head coach candidate. I would take him as well. That guy's a stark raving lunatic. Now I know, look, he's not going to have Myles Garrett with him wherever he goes. And Myles Garrett is going to get the sack record this year. That dude gets a couple a week. And he, honestly, and I don't say this lightly, Myles, when it's all said and done, when he hangs it up, Myles Garrett's going to go down as a top three player in this league on defense. You know, Lawrence Taylor's one. That's never going to change. So he's one. But after him, you can put Myles Garrett in. Now, look, he's played on teams that lose, that stink. I get it. But
still elite.
He's unblockable. You can't block this guy. You put two guys on him. He runs through him. He is unbelievable, this Myles Garrett.
Yeah. One thing I will say, we were at the Browns game a couple years ago in Miami. Dolphins ended up beating the Browns fairly decently. And I think in the cameras caught Tua and Myles Garrett chatting after the game, and Myles Garrett said, "I almost had you." And the quarterback looked at him and said, "I had to get the ball out even faster this week because I did not want you hitting me." That's how good Myles Garrett is.
He is
Myles
unbelievable.
Myles Garrett is, like you said, Lawrence Taylor is the creme de la creme, just like, in my opinion, Jerry Rice is the creme de la creme on offense. Like, you're never going to leapfrog these guys. But Myles Garrett is pushing. He is pushing.
He got 19 sacks with 5 games to play.
He is pushing to be number 2 all time. And he's 100% going to get 3 sacks on Cam Ward on Sunday. He's going to be at 22. He's going to be so close of breaking the record with 4 games left. It's not even funny.
He's going to end the year like 25 or 26 if they keep playing him, which I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean,
At
why not?
least.
He's going to get, I mean, he is and I know, look, he plays for Cleveland. No one pays attention. And, I get it. Trust me, I get it more than anyone. But he is so stinking good. It's not even close. He's so good. Like, he is better than guys like Reggie White and Smith. Like, he's better than them. And those guys are iconic. They're Hall of Famers. They're iconic. Myles Garrett's so much better than them. Look, here's the deal. You play the Browns, you have to factor. It's not like he's got someone lined up opposite him who's taking away some attention. He really doesn't. It's just him. Although the kid they took from Michigan this year at the top of round 1, he's been fantastic too. Like, way better than Grant. Mason Graham, he's been so he's helped him a little, but he ain't helped him that much getting that many sacks.
Right.
But he's like, if there was ever any question, if it was Mason Graham or Grant who was the star, it was Graham. I mean, like by miles. Underdog. I can't believe this team's an underdog. I'm shocked. Give me Jacksonville at home plus 1.5. That's right, Tony Khan. I'm picking you, baby. I think the Colts are about. And look, I've been high on the Colts all season. You know that time. I've been high on the Colts. I think the wheels are coming off. Jones is hurt. He's not 100%. I think the wheels are about to come off. And I think Jacksonville's got a horseshoe up their ass. And I think they're going to win the South. And I think they're going to win this game. If you're giving me 1.5 at home, Jacksonville's hotter than a pistol right now. Give me Jacksonville.
I was looking at that one. I won't take that.
Sure you were.
I was looking at it. I'll go on the edge here. I've picked these guys a few times this year, and I just think that this game is just going to be very, very close. It's the game of the week. Give me the Bears plus 6.5 in a division game for first place at Green Bay. Green Bay's been up and down. They had a great Thanksgiving game, but the Bears have been on fire.
Bears have been good.
Bears have been so good. Caleb Williams has been fantastic over these last, I would say, 5-6 games. He's been so good. And the Bears, they just have it this year. They have it. And if you want to put a staple on the 2025 season, you go into Lambeau, a team that has owned you the way that the Buffalo Bills have owned the Miami Dolphins. You go into Green Bay and you beat that team in Green Bay. Statement made. Division's making a shift. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they're going to cover 7.
Yeah, they are right now the 1 seed in the NFC, and I still think they're 1 year away. I think next year is their year, actually, because I think they need one more offseason. And if you ever want to see a team like who – for years, we've said about the Dolphins, see a problem, fix a problem. What the Bears did with their offensive line, like the first week of March, we're going to trade for this guy. We're going to pay this guy a ton of money. Like, they fixed their offensive line literally in the span of like 3 days. And look what they do. They run the ball. They got 2 running backs now. Although the one kid who's come out of nowhere, that Kyle, what's his last name? I don't even know his last name. McCogney, whatever. So, yeah, he got like a hurt ankle now, but I think he's still going to play. They got 2 running backs that like are each running for like 100 yards a game. They just fixed their offensive line. They are fantastic. and they're still 1 year away. Now their head coach, every time I see him, I just see Adam Gase. I can't get past that, but he's got them playing well. They got a ton of weapons at tight end. They got a ton of weapons at wide receiver, and their quarterback's coming on. So I love that. Now I will say this because Lions game you picked, and they have burned me so many times this year. I'm off them, and I actually like them tomorrow night too. But they were talking about that game this morning on First Take, and one thing they brought up because it was Marcus Spears, who played for the Cowboys in the past, Mad Dog, and Stephen A. That I didn't think of, but they're saying from people they talk to, the reason they've sort of gotten hot, the Cowboys, and they've won some of these games of late, beat Philadelphia, beat the Chiefs, are on this little hot streak. That guy in their team who passed away like a month ago, like ever since that happened, I guess that team really got close, like really close. And they're like playing for each other, and that's sort of like brought the team together. And look, if they go on a run here, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because I think where they sit, it's tough in the NFC. But they might win a bunch of games here. And if they won tomorrow night, I wouldn't be shocked because they're playing for that guy. So that's one thing I didn't even think of, or I didn't know because I don't follow the Cowboys that closely. But I guess they're playing hard for him. So just something to keep an eye on there with Dallas here is they've showed something. They've showed something here the past month or so with some of these wins that they've had. So kudos to them. But overall, we'll see here. NFL's a weird sport, man. NFL's a weird sport. And I don't know if you saw this. I'm not a big NBA guy.
Sure
I could care less about it.
Sure
but Giannis there, I guess he hurt himself tonight. And it's not the Achilles, although that was the first thing they thought of. But it's a calf injury. It ain't that the injury that happens before the Achilles goes? Usually.
Yeah. Usually it's – because being a lifelong Celtics fan, Tatum had a calf injury in the playoffs. He was playing through it, and his Achilles ruptured against the Knicks.
Yeah,
so
it was after a
basket.
basket.
Be careful. Soft tissue injuries, you got to be careful.
So it was after a basket, not his basket, someone else made a basket. He started to run, and he just went down, and he wanted to like pound the floor, but he stopped himself, and he's just sitting there, and it's not the Achilles now. They're saying it's a calf, but we've seen this a lot the past year or two. Halliburton, your guys with the Celtics. Again, I don't follow the NBA, but I watch the news. I know what's going on. And it's like that's the injury that happens right before. And I know he's on the trade block. I saw it all today. If you're a team trading for this guy right now, you better proceed with caution because you're going to part with like 4 or 5 first-round picks or 3 or 4 big-name players because that would scare the hell out of me right now if I'm a team thinking about trading for him.
100%. I would proceed with caution, but Giannis he's the 0.01% NBA player, right? If he's on his game, he is the best guy that I've been watching. And off topic, if it's I've seen the Knicks, but if I was him, instead of the Knicks. This is my curveball team. I would say, what will it take to get me to San Antonio to play with Wemby? Oh, my God, that front court.
I don't think the Knicks want him at this point. I think they might have wanted him in the offseason, but now that they got the team set, once again, I don't follow this stuff, just from stuff I see on TV. I don't think they want him because for them to part with him, they'd have to lose so many players to have it match out with the money because if you think the NFL salary cap's complicated, from what I've learned, the NBA with this apron, that apron, they're at the one apron the Knicks where it has to match 100% the money, one for one. They'd have to lose their whole team. So I don't think the Knicks want him anymore. I think they might have wanted him in the offseason when they could still add some pieces around him. At this point, they're not going to have a team left. So I don't think it's the Knicks. The team that they're saying, which actually makes sense. I know people – OKC's got like a zillion picks. And they got a zillion. I know it would be boring because if you send them there, going to win championship.
They're 21-1 already.
I know, but that's the team that is the smartest front office from what I've heard, that they have a ton of picks. They got some guys they could move. You add him to that mix, and they're going to have a dynasty. That's the team that probably should and probably will, at the end of the day, get him. And again, I'm no NBA person, but just listening to shows and watching news, like I said, I work right here where I sit all day. First take, I got my TV. I'm watching the shows. I know people hate those shows. I actually like those shows because you get a wide range of opinions and stuff. And I'm open to listen to anyone's opinion. I know most people these days, they only want to hear people who tell them things that they like or tell them things that they agree with. I want to listen to people who don't think like me. And I know nothing about the NBA, so I'll listen to anyone because I don't know. It just sounds like that's the team that has the most to offer. That one in the Hawks. But if I'm honest, I'm telling the Hawks, you can go fuck them. I mean, why would you want to go to Atlanta? That's where careers go to die. I mean, good Lord. I know that much about the NBA. That's where careers go to die. If they couldn't win in the 80s with Dominique Wilson, they're not going to win in the 2020s with Giannis. I know that much.
Yep.
All right, everyone. This was a wide-ranging show today. Thank you for listening. We might have to do more mailbag shows, as that had a nice little first take type of debate. We went back and forth. I loved it. Got the juices flowing over Mac Jones of all people. I loved it. All right, everyone, have a great day. That's where we are as a franchise. Yeah, that's where we are, really. Be sure to check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com, Patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. First month for $1. Use the promo code DTXMISS. We'll talk to you again later this week. I got a surprise interview coming this week with someone, and Josh and Aaron tomorrow night, they're going to sing the song. It's Jets week. They're going to sing the song. So tune in Thursday night to hear Josh. They already posted the song on social media, but they're going to sing it live on Thursday. So tune in tomorrow night. And when you're on the roads, make sure we put an end to highway profanity. Peace out.